Hi, are your beliefs getting in the way of your work dreams? This is today's topic. I'm Debbie Clement Large and I'm joined by,
I'm Clara Rose.
and we are super excited to share all we know around getting our beliefs out of the way. Let's find out. So I really like this topic, Clara. It's really up my street.
Yes, no doubt. This is you are definitely this side of the heart and mind of business. This is your alley, so take it away, my friend.
It is indeed. And what I love about this month in October, we have been talking all about our passions, which is the first way in the 8 ways to mind your own business. So we are going to share some more information today around how to choose and cultivate your passion, and how to, from there, really just brings about the business and the work that brings fulfillment, rather than doing something that you do just because for the sake of it, to earn a few pounds or a few dollars. And you don't feel any fulfillment when you're doing it just for the money.
Or just because somebody has said, this is what you ought to do.
Oh,
right? An expectation of you, perhaps. Yeah. So you end up somewhere you're like, how did I end up here? This isn't what I love. This doesn't make me happy.
Have you ever done that?
More than once in life, actually. Early on in my career, I've always been an entrepreneur. So even as a young person, right? My first business when I was 18. But along the way, I've had businesses and I kind of have this attitude, I could do that, right? I could totally do that. So I see something, I'm like, I could do that. So I do, right? I don't have a fear of, and maybe I don't know why that is, but I don't have a fear of the outcome of it. I just think I could totally do that. I want to do that. And so I do that. But what ends up happening sometimes is you get to where you think you want it to be and you realize, oh, this isn't at all fulfilling. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. The outcome, the end result isn't what I thought was going to be the outcome and end result. So, yeah. And then you end up thinking, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So you go do something else. Or at least I did. Like, I've given away businesses. I've sold businesses. I've just closed business. I'm like, oh, this sucks. This isn't I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. And so I do.
And I love that story. And what's interesting out of what you've said is that I hear some of that in my clients, that they've strived for the last 5 years to get where they think they feel successful, and yet they've reached it. And it's a bit like, I'm not. I don't feel any better than I did before. And now I'm feeling I'm going to be happy in another 5 years when I've done the next lot.
Right.
So you end up chasing your tail. You never get there. And I love the fearlessness and the courage that you have shown in just saying, do you know what? I don't want to do that.
Like that. Yeah.
Let's do something different, because we're not all like that. I am like that now, but I never used to be.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've really, well, this is all to do with this personal development, this spiritual journey that I've been on. So I did things for the wrong reasons. I've kind of explained this before, and if you've read the book, you know that you've heard all about it. But and then I got stuck. I studied for 6 years. I did this job, and then I felt stuck. And it was a bit like, well, I tried to get a few other jobs, and because mine was quite in a specialist type of organization, nobody else wanted that. And you start doubting yourself then.
Sure.
You couldn't get another job, and you think, I'm never going to get out of this. How on earth do I get out of this situation? You feel like in a hole, and you just want somebody to come along and put a hand down and say, come on, I'll help you up. But there's no one there. And you can call and you can say, help. It's like nothing.
Well, and especially since you spent so much time preparing, right? This wasn't a decision, I'm going to just do this to start a business. You went to school for 6 years, right? And then ended up saying, oh my gosh, this isn't who I am. This doesn't make me happy or feel fulfilled, right? And so that started you searching. right? That started the journey for you. So it
Yeah,
wasn't a quick decision for you.
it wasn't. And shall I share my faulty logic with you? Because this is wonderful. And
Sure.
I'm sure I am not alone. It was my intellect that said to do that 6 years of training to get that job because the job was well paid. And then it was a bit like, well, I'll do the 6 years, I'll get there, then I can go part-time. And in the part-time hours, I can do what I want. It's like, seriously?
That is faulty logic right
It's
there,
really faulty
right?
logic. So
I'm gonna,
but of course I got there and I couldn't go part-time. And then I couldn't go part-time until I went on maternity leave, and then I had a reason to go part-time. But it was just like, you'd wake up on a Monday morning, because I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and I've just got to get through the next so many days. And then when you'd finished and you thought I had a 3 or 4 day weekend, that just seemed to fly by. And then it was like, oh, it's Monday again.
yeah. So this is interesting, but we see it, I don't know about in your culture as much as in our culture, but we very much have a, thank God it's Friday kind of culture, right? We're like, oh, we made it through another week. We get, our 2 days to ourselves, right? To do whatever we want to do. And then, you see it on social media and the memes and the like, oh, it's Monday again. How do you live through Mondays? I'm thinking, I don't want a business or a job even where I feel that way, right? I don't want to think, oh, thank God it's Friday because I can't do one more day, right? I don't want that for myself. I don't think anybody wants that for themselves, right? But how many of us are there? How many are stuck in that feeling? How sad.
So I think from here, they say 9 out of 10 people work purely for the money.
For the money, just because. So
just because.
Whether you hate it or love it. Interesting, huh?
So one of the things I like to say is, if you're not doing what you love, do you know what you want to do? What do you believe about work? I mean, this is really basic stuff around your beliefs, because you act out what you believe. So if you believe you have to work hard for a living, then working hard for a living is what you will do in order to earn some money. But if you think working, is easy, that money comes easily and effortlessly, then that will be more of your experience. If you think losing a job is fearful, maybe when you were a child you saw a parent lose a job and they got worried about the money, then losing a job is becomes fearful. Every time you go through a restructure in a workplace, you become afraid. What's going to happen if I lose my job? I could lose everything. And you become anxious and stressed. So all these things that we learn, we're like onions. When we're born, we have 2 fears. We have the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises, and everything else we've learned.
We learn, right?
So we're like an onion. We're like the little true bit in the middle, and all the rest are layers of all the things that we've learned, which aren't necessarily true. They might be, but they might not.
Right.
So
true.
And working with somebody, when I take a client, I'll help them see their layers. I'll hear it in what they're saying, the words they're using, their vision of the future or vision of now. And I'll ask them a question, and it will challenge them in a nice, loving way to become more consciously aware of the patterns and what they've believed about how life should be. What does success look like? Well, what does fulfillment look like in your work?
Because if you don't know what that looks like, how will you ever attain it? Honestly,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't know what the end is going to look like, and we talk about that in the book, right? 8 Ways to Mind Your Own Business. One of those things that we talk about is looking at the end result. Where do you want to be? What do you want it to look like on a daily basis for you, the actual activities of the day, so that you have something to work towards. Know that where you're headed is what you really want before you do the work of getting there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you said something interesting before. I don't know this train of thought here. You said that all these things are learned, right? And I thought instantly, oh yeah, on both sides of that coin, all the negative things are learned, but the positive things are learned as well. So watching my father, who was an entrepreneur, had his own business, who did sub work sometimes for other contractors. He does masonry work. I watched him move from job to job, but it wasn't, he didn't punch a 9 to 5 clock, right? So I learned that to not be afraid of, oh, this job is ending, it's time, for this next job, and always looking for that next job. So I learned, those were learned behaviors that left me saying, I could totally do that, and just not fearful to go do it, right? So I learned that as well, which is interesting. I just figured that out.
Yeah. But what's wonderful about learning it is that you can learn something different.
Absolutely
So
true.
if you aren't following your passion in whatever you do, then why not? How can you understand how you are self-sabotaging yourself, and then start to change your beliefs around that to enable yourself to gradually, little bit by little bit, doesn't mean to say you have to take the great leap of faith, but you can.
Right.
But you can shift gradually over time and build up that belief. That's what I did. I didn't take the great leap of faith, but I worked on myself to be able to get to the place that the day that I left, bearing in mind how worried I'd been and fearful of leaving behind the good pension and the benefits and a salary and just working for myself and having never done that before, I actually left feeling like this was the best thing. It felt so right. I felt so joyous, and I have never looked back, but I did the work on me before that.
Right. So you worked to change your mindset
Yes.
before you could make that leap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
And so sometimes that's just what people need. They need someone to walk beside them, which is why you have a business, right? Because you walk beside people and help them with their mindset. Right?
Yeah.
You help them change that piece so they can achieve what they want and have what they want. And it's very different than the kind of work that I do, where I'm very tactical oriented, right? I'm like, yes, you want to start a business? I can help you with that, right? You want to write your book? I can help you with that. That's very tactical. I have a process, a system, a method that works. It's successful. But we approach it from different sides of the coin. But that's what makes this book such an awesome book, I think, is that we're coming at it from both sides. We're giving you both of the important pieces. So
yeah.
super
And
cool.
actually, it's the plan that you have and the pieces that you can follow, the processes, but then the intuition bit of actually getting in tune with who you are, what you really want, and having a big toolbox of skills that you can just delve into and get when you need, but you don't need to do them all and follow them all. So it's having that wonderful mix between the two of us.
Absolutely. Wow. Right. So today, this really is so much about your mindset. Is what you think affecting what you're currently doing? And if it is, maybe it's time to stop and have a look at that. Ask yourself, what is it that I believe? How is that affecting the work that I'm doing? And am I happy in the work that I'm doing? Is this fulfilling me?
Yeah, you don't want to get to the age right at the end of your life and look back and have regrets and wish you'd given yourself the opportunity to do something different. We have the choice to change each and every moment. And it's been wonderful sharing this.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today for this awesome topic. Thank you for all of your insight, Debbie. I so have learned an incredible amount from you during this journey together. So thank you guys so much for participating once again in this great every week event with us. While you're here, please hop down and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any good stuff. Hit the little notification, like us, follow us, all of the social media things that we want you to do so that you know when we're coming live each week. And we will see you once again next week for more good stuff.
Have a really good week.
All right. Bye now.